or an investor is going to want it to look at funding if they need that. But the second is just a roadmap and know where you're going. You go down the line and you predict maybe funding or business is going to come from one aspect, and as you go along, you're thinking, okay, I overthought this, that you can redo that and relook at what your objective is. I thought if I'm going to ask people to do that, I need to put one together as based on our organization is, and especially for our investors from each of the cities and communities and our utility partners and also the financial institutions and any other private entity that wants to get involved. I feel like it's an investment in our organization, and you guys should be communicated of what's going on. Is there any questions you may have for me?
Is part of your mission, Nate, to recruit workers for existing businesses, or do they recruit their own?
It's become a partnership. I think traditionally my role has been
part-time recruiter.
Yeah, it has to be, because that's our demand right now. When you look at a business growing, that's the biggest resource now for a lot of companies. If you look at a prime example, there's two sides of it. We've seen productivity come in. For example, Bachman Tool and Die. There was a machine there that they had guys working shifts just turning something. Now productivity has caused that to have one person a shift run 3 machines. You can say that's good or bad, and if you're losing workers, but there's productivity gains there. But if our supply of workers is going down, and it's going to scare me even more in the next 5 years, if we're having a shortage now, and then we see more boomers retiring that have been at companies for 20 or 30 years, how are we going to fill those roles?
Excessive answers.
I did.
I can't follow it all. Do you recruit,
yes.
Do you recruit people for existing businesses, or do they recruit their own?
We both do. As far as what my role is,
okay. It just strikes me as odd. If I was running a business, I would want to recruit them. Mm-hmm. I'd want to know their background and stuff.
I think what more.
I can't see how you could run your fanny all over.
No.
And do that.
And it might be more of on a broader scheme of trying to draw people to this area, to the pool of companies we have. Look what we have.
That I understand, drawing them in.
Yeah. But it's going to be up for Bob or Jesse at Bachman or Stacy at Gator to figure out, exactly what they need. But
well, that's what I thought. That's the way it worked.
But if they're communicating to us that they're having issues finding people, that's a part of our economy we need to be aware of. Going back to trying to draw a 100-person plan in at $12.50 an hour, and it looks like for us, but I think we would fall farther than we'd gain.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for it. I just don't see how you can do it all. There's so many.
It's more on a broad term.
For all those businesses, it's just.
Yeah, no, not fine-tuned. No, it's more of a broad finding what's going on, and let's direct them towards our
in case somebody
information.
Asks me what you do, I want to be accurate about it. The other thing that I'm not accurate about, and I don't think the TV audience is, the airport development is on private property, right? It's not on city property.
And it's just a concept right now.
Right. I know it's a concept, and it's a good one, but some people think that the city owns hundreds and hundreds of acres. We don't own hundreds and hundreds
Only
of
about 15 at your acres that are just
you
grass.
would be working through private entrepreneurs.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
We'd be visiting with those landowners to see what their interest is.
Some people don't understand that. They thought that we had the extra 280 acres and so on.
No,
and
I wish you did.
Yeah, I do too, but your job would essentially be the same, whether we owned it or someone else did. You'd still be trying to get a good paying industry in, but
the path just is different.
That's just a clarification point for some people to express it incorrectly.
And I would invite any of the council members, any of the citizens, if you have any questions on anything, you can contact my office, 334-7497, nate.clayberg@growbuchanan.com. I'm available. Every mayor in our community sits on my board. Reach out to Mayor Scharf or, even the city manager. He's got a handle on what I do. I'm open. Councilman Engen, if you ever have any questions,
I know you are, and I know you work
please
hard
let me know.
The other question I had is just kind of sentimental, is all the missing teeth in our Main Street grin.
Sure.
Do you work in that area too, the little stores? I call them little stores.
Well,
They're probably not, but.
It's not generally, and when you look at, I could spend when you get into rural economic development, I could get pulled in all sorts of different directions, from tourism to Main Street to retail to service businesses, dealing with hotels or restaurants. I probably get more involved with that type of sector on the startup end of things when someone's looking to start a business. There's a guy who's starting a business here on Chatham here that's opens tomorrow, I think. I spent 2 or 3 hours with her in the last month, along with somebody from the Small Business Development Center, UNI, going through her business concept, talking through locations and strategies.
So you do some in that area,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to fill in the empty spots.
But as far as, doing retention work or calls on that, I kind of fall back on the chamber office because they've got a better handle on those types of businesses than maybe
Okay.
our office wouldn't necessarily.
All right.
Do you, just one comment, has it worked well for you to be in the same building with the chamber?
It's a little different right now with transition. With them looking to hire a new director, there's a new assistant there now that I think is going to work out very good. She's catching on very quick, and she understands small business, being a small business owner a couple doors down. And I think they're very close to making an offer, I think, to a director. But 3 years ago, before I was hired, or even before that, I would tell you, and probably most people, when you say Chamber of Economic Development, they wouldn't really know the difference of what it is. So it makes sense to me to be in the same office, to be located there together. As long as we've got space together, as Main Street would ever come evolve, you're going to have to look at a Main Street director. Then we got to figure out where that third office would be, because it would make sense to have us all together, because we all kind of serve the same, or have the same purpose of serving business and trying to grow that aspect of the community.
I would agree with Nate's assessment that for any type of economic stability or growth, having a workforce is number one. I mean, if you don't have, people come in and look what the workforce is, that's probably a number one drawback. And I think the affordable housing projects have helped to some degree, but those are all infrastructures that had to be done. We got a great Riverwalk Park, but that used to be the jumping off point for new people coming to town, and that area is not there anymore. So it's very difficult to, and the other thing, as Nate said, is the work ethic. We lose one person, and we probably have to go through 5 people to find somebody that really wants to come to work every day and do what they're supposed to when they're there. And that's, I go to meetings same as Nate does, and that's number one thing most companies are talking about is, and even John Deere. Now, they used to snicker at the rest of us small boys, and they're having the same problem at John Deere.
Yeah, because I've heard, and it's gotten a little more different there. They are hiring people they wouldn't have hired a year ago, or even the people they'd hire 5 years ago, just because they can. They have that brand recognition, and the reason we're having issues, I think, with our